Okay, so let's pull back the curtain on one of Europe's most beautiful cities. We're going to talk about a hidden identity that honestly sounds like it's been ripped straight from a spy movie.
When you think of Vienna, what pops into your head? For most of us, it's probably these magnificent historic buildings. Classical music, that old world charm. It's this city that pulls in millions of tourists who just want to walk its gorgeous and famously safe streets. But here's the thing, tourists aren't the only ones flocking to Vienna. Over the past 30 years, it's been building a much quieter reputation. It has become the world's undisputed capital of espionage, a literal playground for spies. And look, I'm not exaggerating here. On any given day, there are hundreds of intelligence agents operating in Vienna. A lot of them are undercover, disguised as diplomats doing official work. It's a concentration of spies you just won't find anywhere else on the planet.
So who are the big players in this game? Well, you've got countries like Russia and China right at the top of the list. They use Vienna as this perfect neutral ground, right? It's the ideal spot to meet with agents and sources from Western countries.
And just to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, let's just look at Russia. At any given time, there are about 290 accredited Russian diplomats in Vienna. Now that is a massive diplomatic presence for a relatively small country like Austria. But here's the kicker. According to Western intelligence sources, as many as 75 of those 290 people, they aren't really diplomats at all. They're believed to be intelligence agents getting their orders directly from the FSB, which is Russia's main security agency. This brings up the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If everybody knows Vienna is the world's spy hub, why on earth does the Austrian government just let it happen? Well, the answer is kind of wild, and it's all in the country's very unique laws.
Austria's laws against espionage are, to put it bluntly, the weakest in the world. Seriously, they are structured in this really specific way that basically creates a giant, intentional loophole for foreign intelligence agencies to waltz right through.
Okay, look at this. The law has three main rules. 1, you can't spy on Austria itself. Makes sense? 2, military spies are no-go. And 3, foreign spy agencies can't have official agents there. But do you see what's missing? There is absolutely nothing that says a foreign country can't use Austrian soil to spy on another foreign country.
And the result of that massive loophole? Vienna has effectively become a legally protected safe haven. It's a playground where the world's spy agencies can go head-to-head with each other without much fear of any legal trouble from the Austrians.
So, how in the world did this happen? To really get it, you have to rewind the clock all the way back to the end of World War II. This is the period that literally forged Austria's entire modern identity.
So after Germany's defeat in 1945, Austria was also split up between the four winning powers. But here's the difference. Unlike Germany, nobody had a plan for its future. For a whole decade, its fate was just up in the air. Then, finally, in 1955, the Soviets and the Western Allies cut a deal. Austria could be independent, but only, and this is the key part, only if it promised to be permanently neutral, like a bridge between the East and the West.
And this neutrality, it wasn't just a suggestion. It was written right into their constitution. The core rules were crystal clear. Austria could never join a military alliance like NATO, and it could never, ever let a foreign country put a military base on its soil. This wasn't really a choice. It was the price of its freedom.
And that piece of history directly connects to the Vienna we see today. That legacy of forced neutrality, you mix that with those incredibly weird spy laws, and you get a really complex and kind of tense modern reality.
And to make things even more complicated, you have to follow the money. The Russian state and companies linked to it hold over $25 billion in assets inside Austria. That creates a really powerful reason for Austria to want to keep things stable, even if they are, well, complicated.
And it's not just about assets. It gets even deeper. Austrian banks are on the hook to Russia for about $17.5 billion. When you're that financially tied together, it makes any kind of real crackdown on Russian activities, including spying, extremely difficult to pull off.
So, as you can imagine, from a Western point of view, this whole situation is, well, it's pretty alarming. There is a deep distrust of Austria's intelligence services. You often hear accusations that its main agency, the BVT, is compromised, or even that it's secretly working for Russia. And this, right here, this is the heart of the whole conflict. Western spy agencies see a partner they can't trust. But if you look at it from the Austrian side, they're not taking sides. They're just doing what their constitution requires them to do,
upholding the neutrality that was forced on them decades ago by those very same world powers.
So where does all this leave us? Well, Austria's incredibly unique and tangled history has created this massive paradox right in the middle of Europe.
You know, the great irony here is that the very policy of neutrality that was designed to keep Austria out of global conflicts has turned its capital city into the main arena for them, a war fought completely in the shadows.
Which leaves us with one final, fascinating question to think about. In our modern world, where everything and everyone is so connected, is a policy of true, constitutionally required neutrality a source of strength, or is it in the end a critical vulnerability?